Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be doing live readings on the channel this evening, so give me a thumbs up if you guys can see the stream. Say hello in the chat, let me know where you're tuning in from. Happy Friday everyone. This is going to be our live stream where we're going to be doing live tarot readings. If you guys haven't met me before, it's nice to meet you. I'm Candace. I'm a Western astrologer. I work both with tarot as well as the Sabian symbols to make sense of what the heck is going on out there. So we're going to be doing readings this evening on the channel. If this is your first time getting a reading, there's a QR code right up here. You can scan that. It's going to take you to my PayPal where you can make a donation. We also take payments on the, I guess, what is it? I don't know what that is. I'm not even sure what it's called anymore. Anyway, you can pay through YouTube as well. It's slipping my mind what it's called. But those are the two ways that you guys can make a donation. If you go to PayPal and you scan that QR code, it's going to give you the option to either make a donation for one card, that's $20, and then a 3-card spread is going to be $40 donation. Or you guys can join my membership. So if you guys would like to join that, if you didn't know, I've got memberships in different levels to support my content as a full-time content creator. And I'm excited to be back and doing tarot. So how's everybody doing? Let's see who's here. We have got Jessica, Janelle, Enchanted. Hey guys. Hey Katarina. David's in the house, and so is Leah, Brandy. All right, so we have a whole list of people who are already here and waiting in the queue. So if this is your first time getting a reading, in the memo box when you make your donation, that's where you want to ask your question. You can be as specific or as non-specific as you want. Please limit your questions to 1 per each card pull. And also, we can do as many as you want. Sometimes people want to get a 3-card reading. Sometimes people want several 1-card readings. So if you have multiple questions, you can do that. And basically what we'll do is we'll call everybody in order. So I appreciate your guys' patience. I'll give you a heads up and let you know who's next in the queue. We always take level 3 members first. So is there anybody who's here that's a level 3 membership that wants to cash in on your reading? For those of you guys who don't know, level 3 is an awesome way to get a reading with me once a month. Basically you support my content. If you like my horoscopes, my full moon reports, and all the stuff that I'm putting out, you can support me by doing that, by joining my memberships. Included in your level 3s, you're going to get a reading once a month. And we always take level 3 members first, so you guys don't have to wait. So you can get in, you can get out to get your reading done. What's up, Vanessa? Hey, Matt. Hey, Cassie. Hey, Rob. How's it going? Everybody say happy birthday to Rob. It's his birthday today. He is my buddy. All right, so with that being said, let me give you guys a little bit of a roll call and let you know who I have here. So if any of my level 3 people want to get in, let me know. Enchanted, I got you last week. So we got you for astrology. Candles is that's my nickname. All right, so here's who I have for the live readings today. I've got Brandy and Elizabeth, Matthew, Jessica, Lori, Vanessa, and Dorothy. And Jessica, I saw that you're in there as well. So even though you paid for a reading, we take level 3 people first. So I'll take you. So Elizabeth, Matthew, Lori, Vanessa, and Dorothy, you guys are all on deck. When you hear your name, your reading is coming up, just as a heads up. And let's take a look. Let's see. We'll probably leave this open for a little bit so you guys can get in the queue if you would like by scanning the QR code right up there. So I'm going to start with Jessica. Let me take her info. And it looks like you asked it up here. All right. So Jessica says, send payment. What's coming towards me with love work? I put a grievance against my last boss for retaliation, and an investigation is going to open. Scorpio rising. All right, let's take a look. Let's see what you need to know. So is there anything that's coming up in regards to these topics, and especially with stuff brewing on the work front? All right, so in this order, all right, this definitely seems more work related. 10 of Swords, 5 of Coins, the King of Swords. So this really talks about having an opportunity to really put out there what your grievances are. So 10 of Swords is the first card. This does talk about like disappointment or feeling like you're in a situation where you're not getting support. This is the stabbed in the back card and kind of feeling like something happened that you can't really forgive or you can't really forget. When this card comes up in the previous position, it's saying whatever has happened has already happened. It's about acknowledging that, especially the fact that the 5 of Pentacles feels like when you did try, discussing the matter, you did try talking about, whatever was going on, you felt like you hit a dead end or that you weren't given like the necessary care or concern that you needed. And then the King of Swords in the final position. Now this can represent either dealing with your boss directly and being somebody who's like going to obviously give their 2 cents, but it can also be about you because the reading is about you and how you're speaking up and kind of speaking your mind, standing up for yourself, defending yourself, having your voice heard, right? Kings are about mastering an energy, and this is the element of air. So it's communication, things that are in writing, documents, things that have to be spoken or written that are defined. So the fact that this is like a filing that you've done, against your boss does mean that it's going to carry some kind of weight. Like he's going to have to respond to it, but it's also going to be a situation where you're finally going to feel like you're being heard. Some pretty gnarly cards. I mean, 10 of Swords definitely talks about endings. And the 5 of Coins talks about, like I said, not getting what you need. Confirmation card that I get for the final card, whether it's you or your boss, I get the Chariot. So it does talk about there being some kind of repercussion or there being some kind of action that's taken. The Chariot card can literally talk about like starting to show where the wheels are coming off of a situation at work, where it may really highlight the fact that like they're not leading very well or they're not managing very well, not just in the situation with you, but there may be rapid changes that are going on with like management or like people who are kind of in higher positions at work. It's not going to be something where you just file something and nothing comes of it. Like there's actually going to be some pretty significant shifts. Now, in regards to the 10 of Swords, this is an awesome deck I like using. This is sometimes people ask me, this is the Lucid Dreams Beginners deck. Great if you're learning tarot. This says on the top part of the card, painful endings, feeling stabbed in the back, loss, being left out, dealing with a crisis, and feeling betrayed. So that's where you've been. And then for the current position, you get the 5 of Pentacles, financial loss, poverty, lack mindset, feeling isolated and feeling like there's some hardship or adversity and also persistence through the situation. And then the final card is the King of Swords. Like I said, mastering communication, having more mental clarity, intellectual power, truth, authority, reason, discipline, high standards, head over heart, integrity, serious or strict. So I do feel like this is about people looking at this particular person at work and being like, like, are they actually doing their job? Does somebody need to have a conversation with them? That confirmation card of the Chariot is about action, success, forward motion, willpower, determination, opposing forces, working towards a goal. So I see this as like, at the very least, it's going to create change, right? You're going to see that this is going to like either help this person realize that like you're not going to put up with this and like now there's a little bit more pressure on them. Or it's a situation where sometimes when the Chariot comes up, it's saying like people step in and they start kind of really assessing, okay, who should be in upper management? Do we need to make changes? Things like that. So I see this being more relating to work. It's not really relating to relationships. And my advice is don't focus too much on what's happened. Okay, like don't sit on these feelings, because the 10 of Swords and the 5 of Coins is like, if you feel helpless and you're like, what's the point? Why am I even saying anything? It's just going to continue. This is supposed to be about empowerment. It's supposed to be feeling like your voice is being heard, and the fact that you're speaking up isn't just about how you're being treated at work. It's also about how this potential person is treating other people and kind of raising the alarm and being like, yeah, this isn't working. So that way changes can actually be made. Okay. So yeah, stressful, but like you're gonna get your opportunity to kind of speak your piece and then some. And I would watch, because the response that they're gonna get or that they're going to give doesn't necessarily make me feel like they're going to be vindicated. It's like they'll respond, but the Chariot card is like, okay, there definitely needs to be some changes. So I definitely think that that's a positive thing. It's going in the right direction for you and probably other people at work as well. She's made a lot of enemies. Well, it's not surprising with that Ten of Swords coming up. Like, you know, you stab enough people in the back, or you burn enough bridges, and it's like you're not going to have a lot of support, you know? Time to take an evil eye to work. It's kind of what it sounds like to me. Good luck, Jessica. I hope that that's helpful. What's up, Jen? You want to cash in for your reading? We can do that. I'll add you to my list. What can I help you with? Let me know what your question is, and I will take you next. Let's do Brandy while we're waiting for Jen. Brandy says, according to my chart, it's getting to be a good time to attract love. I'm an Aquarius sun, Cancer rising, Gemini moon. Okay, yeah, maybe. You'll see more of that when there's like activations going through maybe Pisces, when planets are coming into conjunction with Saturn pretty soon. I have to do my part to attract it. What places should I be frequenting and inner work should I be doing to make this happen? Awesome question. So I'll give you the astrology and the tarot. All right, so this is 3 cards. So we'll see what the cards say, and then I'm going to tell you what I think astrologically. All right, so in this order, ooh, I like these cards. Page of Cups, 6 of Swords, and the Moon card. Okay, so that is what's coming up for you, Brandy. So Page of Cups is about kind of heart wide open, right? It's like open to the idea of relationships, connection, feeling really dreamy, whimsical. It can talk about, you know, sweet kind of beginning encounters with people. And it's more kind of being tender-hearted. And also that emotional connection, really fostering a sense of focus on emotional connection. 6 of Swords, getting outside of your comfort zone, making changes, meeting people in other places, or while traveling, or kind of getting outside of your usual hangout spots, which I would agree with some of the transits you're going to see in March. This can also talk about being in transition or being in limbo. So it is possible that you're kind of making a shift of some kind, and you're considering, hey, am I going to look outside of usual places that I would go? Am I open to meeting somebody at a distance? That's definitely something that can happen. And then we have the Moon card. So it is saying also listening to your intuition, paying attention to your dreams, focusing on setting intentions, working with lunar transits like new moons and full moons. I think this is actually speaking to what's going to be happening during the next full moon. So if you didn't catch my full moon in Virgo video, watch it. I talk about how right after the full moon in Virgo, which is the next lunation we're going to have, a couple days later, we're going to see Saturn, Mercury, and the Sun come into conjunction. Now that's important if you're a Cancer rising, because Saturn rules your 7th house of relationships. So there can be a connection to somebody in a 9th house way. You meet them while traveling, or while they're traveling, maybe at an airport, maybe you meet them at a course or some kind of like continuing education. Maybe you meet them at like a meditation class. Any conjunctions involving Saturn is what you want to watch for, because that can be an indication that somebody is kind of coming in. So the fact that it happens right after the full moon makes me feel like there might be a connection there. I would also say like having Mars and Venus in Aquarius is really great for Aquarius placements, and it's going through your 8th house. So really passionate, kind of sexy, kind of steamy. Pluto being there is about going to deeper levels of like intimacy with other people. And I definitely could see this as being an opportunity with, Jupiter in this next year going through Gemini in your 12th house. Some kind of like learning more about metaphysical, spiritual stuff, traveling. And what you're going to see is when the eclipses come in the end of March, beginning of April, both of the eclipses are going to focus on Mars and Venus, because it's a lunar eclipse in Libra and a solar eclipse in Aries. Those two rulers will be conjunct Saturn. So it's trying to say like, focus on your beliefs about relationships, get to know people in other places, consider traveling, like start getting involved more in spiritual or worldly kind of like practices. The more that you're doing that, especially because Pisces can be about metaphysical things. So meditation, maybe you're saying, hey, I want to, go and join a book club that's about, reading kind of like spiritual stuff. Maybe you're planning trips and vacations. This is going to possibly make it more so likely for you to meet people. And that's why I really like that the Six of Swords is coming up. It can mean that you're having to go a little bit further out of your comfort zone to potentially meet people. And so this is the Page of Cups. So it's about idealism, being dreamy, sensitive, innocent, being open to possibilities, curiosity, and also new relationships. And it can be talking about other water signs. So Cancers, Pisces, Scorpios, these people might start kind of coming into your life. Six of Swords does, like I say, talk about being in limbo, but it's about being in transition. So maybe it's, well, I'm open to getting into relationship again, or I'm open to maybe broadening my horizons with where I would be meeting people. Sometimes this can talk about trips that are long distance trips or trips over water. And this is about leaving behind the old, moving on to calmer waters, and learning lessons. So I think it's going to be about learning from where you've been, moving forward. Obviously, as a Cancer rising, Pluto is no longer in your 7th house. So you're kind of like, okay, whatever lessons I've learned with relationships, now I'm kind of starting again. And then this Moon card is talking about your intuition and also like what is coming up for you subconsciously in regards to relationships. What you don't see, maybe where there is some kind of something that's like being hidden from you. Saturn and Pisces, so it might mean that you have to work a little bit harder to connect with people. And I would definitely pay attention to that full moon, because I think that can be very telling for opportunities to connect with people who might be a little bit further away. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful for you. That was for Brandy. It looks like we have Jen. What's up, Jessica Martinez? I'm happy to do your reading. Just let me know what your question is. Jessica says, how do I get off this crazy train? If I had the answer to that, I've literally been asking myself the same thing the last couple of days. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So many people, including those that I love the most, are working against me, creating so much chaos in my life. I just want peace and happy times with my family. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's see what's going on for you, Jen. I was telling my husband earlier today, I was like, get ready for the drama tonight, because Pluto is conjunct Venus right now. So yesterday, today, tomorrow, we're seeing this really intense energy in regards to relationships, right? Venus. Pluto can be about detoxing, purging, seeing sometimes the darker side of relationships. And it's going to separate over the next couple of days, but Venus is still going to be between Pluto and Mars. So it's an intense couple days until we get to about mid next week for relationships, guys. That's what's happening. So let's see if we can help Jen shed some light on what's going on with some of the stuff with her closest relationships. Can she get off the crazy train? I'm glad to see you, Jessica. I haven't seen you for a bit. Sag rising, Libra sun. So the South Node stuff is hitting your sun. And as a Sag rising, all these planets are coming into Pisces, which is your 4th house, which is about home and family. It can feel like you're having to come to some certain realization that some things need to change. Okay, so these are the cards that I get for you. Hi, there's that 5 of Pentacles again. So 5 of Pentacles coming up with a Fool and also the High Priestess. Okay, so I'm going to be super point blank with you, okay? This is the second time we've seen this card, so I feel like we're already having a little bit of deja vu. Where are you feeling like you're not getting what you need? Where are you feeling like you're being cast aside, left out in the cold? Where do you need more assistance, more resources, more love, more support? Okay, so look at the lack, even though I know we don't want to look at the lack. Coming into Pisces season pretty soon, we're all going to be looking at going like, okay, what needs to come to an end in our life, right? Because Pisces is that natural completion. It's the 12th sign. So at least it's in the previous position. It's saying like, look, I've been experiencing some stuff where I'm not getting the support that I need. The Fool comes up, so it's about freedom, freeing yourself from certain relationships. Literally, it can materialize as being like, I need to go away. I need to take some time to myself. I need to travel. I think of being like a Sag rising, and you guys are always like quick to like escape. And maybe you feel like with Saturn in your 4th house, you haven't had the freedom to escape as much as you would like to. So I think about Mars and Venus moving into Aquarius in your third house. Really great time to take a road trip, just food for thought. You can if you can squeeze some time in while you're seeing these transits in your third house, even if it's like an overnight somewhere or going away for the weekend and coming back, can be a good time to do that. You can feel like there's a lot of tension and stuff that's going on with communication here, especially with like neighbors or friends or even with siblings. There can be some tension in some of these areas. And it's because now Pluto is in your third house. So communication feels more intense, especially with family and people who are close to you. Now, when I see the Fool card, I think of like Uranus, right? And so Uranus is moving through your sixth house, where you're going to see a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, where you want to pay attention to your stress levels. You want to create more time where you can have peace and harmony and rest and recuperation throughout your schedule, throughout the week. Overworking is going to lead to feeling totally mentally wiped and exhausted. So there is this need to rearrange something about your schedule so you're having more downtime and you have more peace. But this can also mean that you're trying to find ways to kind of like seek freedom in regards to your habits. You're seeking freedom when it comes to, work or something like that. And the High Priestess is really interesting as like a current position, because it's saying intuitively that you're like, okay, it's getting to a point in certain relationships where I have no other choice but to leave, or to break this off, or to take space, or to create boundaries, right? And like learning not to get stuck in the what I'm not getting, focusing more on being like, okay, well, I'm not getting what I need. So if I stay here and I sit in this, I'm going to continue that pattern. But if I free myself from some of these patterns or some of these habits with the Fool, the High Priestess is like, I know that this is the right thing to do. Really, it's about not even necessarily taking action, listening to that inner guidance, and then realizing like, you know what? I have the ability to create change. I don't have to be so focused on responding to other people or trying to tell other people what to do or trying to teach them how to treat me. I need to know when it's time to keep it moving, to literally move forward. Obviously, right? Like, Venus rules your sixth house. So there can be this feeling that you're dealing with some people who you thought were your lovers, and they're turning out to be people who are causing a lot of strife for you. But the High Priestess doesn't react. She finds alone time. She reflects, she meditates. Sometimes it means that the answers are within you. And that if you're kind of coming to the conclusion that you have no other choice but to move on, that in itself can be really liberating for you. That can give you the opportunity to create new habits, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily like move away. If you're a Sag rising and you're having issues with your kids, this is also tied to eclipses that are coming in your fifth house. So there's going to be a solar eclipse there at the beginning of April, conjunct Chiron. So it's about healing stuff in regards to your inner child, your relationship with children. And it can, with the North Node, mean that they need more independence and you need to let them have that outlet. And it's like almost like a sense of being like, okay, you do you for a little bit. I'm going to give you that space. But everything comes down to the transits in your third house and how you communicate, and also, mental tension. And if there's a lot of that going on, walking, riding, biking, driving, these are third house things that you want to do that can actually help kind of pull you out of some of these feelings of mental pressure and give you a little bit of a break so you can kind of better connect and communicate. Aquarius can sometimes be a little bit at a distance. So it can mean that you're like, okay, I'm going to give you your space, and then maybe you'll be using some of the retrograde and the eclipses in April to kind of come around. Sometimes the smartest thing to do with the High Priestess is to just wait. Just wait until you feel like it's the right time to hash things out. Just wait until, you've let them kind of go through their moment, and then they kind of come back around. Give yourself the space and the freedom to be able to do that, and find third house things that you can do. Even if it's just, hey, I'm just spending the day out on my own, or I'm getting out of town for, an overnight. These things are what you want to be doing right now to kind of better deal with some of this energy. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Sending you lots of good vibes, says Katerina. We are. What's up, Victoria? I can definitely take your question. Just let me know what you would like to know. And I'm going to take Jessica, and then I will take Victoria. So Jessica Martinez is back. She says she's so grateful to catch this live. She's been a long-time supporter of this channel. Thank you, Jessica. You're the best. Let's give her a general reading and see what the cards say. in this order. We've got 2 of Wands, 7 of Cups, 7 of Swords. Ooh, 2 sevens. To me, this is a lot of like, do I stay or do I go? You know, like weighing 2 options and trying to decide which way is going to be best to go. So are you going back and forth on something right now? Of course, 2 of Swords comes up as the confirmation card. 2 of Wands. This is about waiting for your ships to roll in. It's kind of like, okay, I'm waiting for something to present itself before I make a move. It's about waiting until you see the 2 paths start to emerge. Can be about travel, can be about adventure, but I also see this as remaining open to something new that's coming into your life. The card says choices, decisions, first steps, choosing a path, future planning in the dark. Should I stay or should I go? Preparing to leave your comfort zone. 7 of Cups comes up as the current position. And so, you know, for me with sevens, things kind of get a little weird because you have to be careful with 7 of Cups and 7 of Swords. There is this sense of being like, oh, this seems like a good idea. I think I'm going to do this. And then the 7 of Swords comes in and then you realize like, probably was not the best move, or should have thought that through, or I'm not sure if I should have done that with that person. She says, we're building different things with business. It's been a lot of changes, some trauma with it. Okay, so my advice is with the 7 of Cups, the positive side of this is dreamy, creative, whimsical, being open-minded about all the potential options, but it also can mean that there can be too many irons in the fire. So right now it's great. You might kind of feel like, you know, we're throwing spaghetti at the wall and we're seeing what sticks, but you want to be mindful that if there's too many things going on at one time, it can feel overwhelming. And then it's like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like we're in too deep. When the 7 of Cups comes up, this card says choices, clouded judgment, many options, illusions, opportunities, wishful thinking, searching for purpose, indecision, and disarray. Okay. So then the final card you get is the 7 of Swords, which means, what am I missing? Or where did I not kind of suss everything out appropriately? Or where was there potentially some issues where I forgot to do something, or I left something behind, or I forgot to include something, or I included somebody and they weren't the right person for the task. This is a card that says betrayal, deception, leaving something, dishonesty, sneakiness, strategy, scheming, and cunning. I don't necessarily see this as betrayal per se. I think it could be more like thinking you can rely on people who are going to be involved, because 7s can be relating to partnership. And you're like, yeah, this is a really good option. Like, this is the best person for the job. And they say, yes, well, I'll help you build this thing. And then you find out that they're not so reliable, right? This reminds me a lot of what's going on with conjunctions to Neptune and Saturn pretty soon. So I would watch as those transits are happening in Pisces season, that it can be a feeling like things are actually winding down, not that things are kind of, you know, generating and starting up. I really feel like for you in April, when we start to see all these new energies come in, you will have by then kind of sussed out what is and is not working. You'll have more clarity. You'll be able to be more decisive because the card that I got was the 2 of Swords. So this is the confirmation, which means you're going to most likely feel like you're ready to make a move. You know which projects are going to stick. You're sure, and you're more so committed to it. I dreamt of mice last night. Okay, so mice, rats, things like that can definitely, crocodiles, these are symbols in your dreams that there can be an indication that there's holes in your plan, maybe people that are hard to trust. I don't think that you're openly being deceived, but I do think that there is a sense of feeling like, okay, everything is, you know, going to work out with the people and the plans that we have going. And I don't think everybody is completely on the same page. So that seems to be like a little bit of an issue here. What is your rising sign again, Jessica? I always forget. Let me know. Thanks, Victoria. I will take you. Yeah, so it's like, if this were me, it's okay to be creative right now and have all of these ideas, but you want to see actually when it comes to like March leading into April, what's actually sticking. And by the time you get to that point, if you're feeling like certain people aren't reliable, you're going to be like, nope, we have to kind of focus on what's actually working. We're going to have to turn some people loose. Okay, so Cancer rising. So it makes sense. The eclipse in the retrograde is going to be in your 10th house. And it means through that retrograde at the beginning of April, you're like, whatever hasn't been working has to go. Whoever has been involved that's not, you know, pulling their weight or not calling us back or not following through, it's got to go. So maybe wait to do any major launches until after that retrograde and the eclipse in April. I mean, we're kind of getting to like mid-February, so we're only like 6 weeks out anyway. And we know that's the real astrological new year. So do yourself a favor, wait until that time. I know it can be tricky, but I feel like that's going to be the time where you're going to have more of a feeling of being in control of what's going on with some of the work stuff, right? Hopefully that's helpful. Keep paying attention to those dreams. 7 of Cups comes up when you have dreams that are telling you things that you need to know. And I don't think the mice is about people you can't necessarily trust. I think it's going to be more about holes in the plan. You know what I'm saying? Holes in the plan. So hopefully that's helpful for you. What's up, Catherine? You know, if you would like me to get your reading, or you can come back next week for astrology. I hope you're well. Let's take a look. So Victoria says, thanks, Jessica. Let me know about the business stuff when you launch it. I'll give you a shout out. Victoria says, my moon is in my 6th house, or his moon is in my 6th house. He has Venus in Cancer. Hot. Mars in Aries. Need to know more. Cards tell me more. Who is this man? Give me some insights. Tell me something good. I need good sex. Okay, let's see. So what do we need to know about these connections? She says, I want a husband. All right. So in this order, ooh, there's the Chariot again. Chariot, Ace of Cups, and the World card. Well, does it get any sweeter than that? I think that's talking about the moon, you know, because the moon has connections to Cancer. Cancer's connected to the Chariot. It's about listening to your intuition sometimes leading the way. So for you, talking about that moon in your 6th house, helping, being of service, being somebody who can help you with work, somebody who's not willing to get their hands dirty and take care of your home or sometimes even your emotional needs. So I think that's a really strong connection with the Chariot and the Ace of Cups coming up. Sometimes the Chariot talks about something picking up momentum, picking up speed, where you're talking about moving together, where you guys are talking about living together, or what your goals are, what your emotional dreams are when it comes to home, family, business type of stuff. So that definitely seems to be an indication that things are actually potentially going in that direction, or it could be something that could happen very quickly. The relationship could evolve very quickly. Then you've got the Ace of Cups, which obviously is an opportunity for a new beginning in relationships, planting a seed, allowing you guys to grow and love together. So this card, let's see what it says. It says love, new relationship, compassion, creativity, new emotions, emotional awakening, deeper feelings, potential proposals, and spiritual connection and intimacy. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of momentum, you know, moving towards the direction of spending time together, initiating potentially a new relationship. And then the World card, so you have 2 majors, and then the Ace of Cups is kind of sandwiched between, moving towards your Dharma destiny. You know, the World card is like the last card in the tarot, so it talks about completions, fulfillment. Also, it's a travel card, so it can be somebody who's into traveling and kind of exploring with you. But this is about like integration and fulfillment and harmony, and not necessarily just in a partnership sense, but like feeling like the right moment, the right time for this person to kind of come into your life with where you're going. Let's see, what does this card say? The bigger picture, evolution, sense of belonging, harmony, and fulfillment and accomplishment. So yes, especially when it comes to relationships, but somebody who's also going in the same direction as you. Like sometimes when the Chariot card comes up with positive cards, it's saying like this is the right person to have by your side because you have the same goals and you're trying to achieve the same things. So it is possible that with this energy coming into your life, it's like unstoppable. Like sometimes the Chariot's something where you're like, oh my gosh, you know, like I don't really feel like I can say no to where this potential relationship is going, to this unfolding. Key times are definitely going to be, you know, basically between now and Cancer season. Makes sense, especially thinking about like some of your, you know, eclipses and things that are going to be coming up, is about vulnerability and opening up and, you know, being more kind of strongly kind of connected to a person and building when it comes to intimacy together. And so what I love about the Ace of Cups is that it teaches you that two people can really have the opportunity to fill each other's cup. You see that with the Two of Cups. But this is really, I think, a strong indication that there's no stopping potentially like the relationship train, if that makes sense. Keep us updated. We want to hear all about it. We still have availability if you guys want to get readings. You can scan the QR code right here and I'll add you to my queue. No worries, Catherine. We'll see you soon. Hope that date goes well. That looks very steamy. Let's see what happens. All right, so who else do we have here? Did we have someone else? Catherine's gonna come back. We got Victoria, we got Jessica. So I think that's it for my level 3 people. If I'm missing anybody, please let me know. I know we took Brandy. So I'm now moving on to my list here. All right, cool. So we have got Elizabeth, and then we have Matthew, and then we have Lori. You guys are all on desk. That's so cute. I like that. You have come back and leave us a comment. Let us know how the date goes on the live. All right, so for Elizabeth Rojas, do you have a particular question, Elizabeth? Please let me know. I love all your Aries placements right now. They're on fire. Can you jump in like double Dutch? Sure. Is Elizabeth here? Are you here? Let me know what your question is. I'm going to take Matthew while I'm waiting for Elizabeth. Ask me your question if you can. Matthew says, hello again. So the advice of your tarot last reading was great, and I met up with my cute guy friend in the city for a second time, and I had a really great day with him. He took me on a nice date into different parts of Brooklyn and out to dinner and seemed interested in hanging out again. I live a few hours from the city, but we have each other's numbers. Is there any advice on how I should approach this? I've never done a long distance thing before. I really like him and getting to know him. Thank you. All right, well, let's take a look. Taurus Sun, Libra Moon, Cancer Rising. He's a Capricorn Sun, Scorpio Moon, Capricorn Rising. We also had an insight on how I felt the distance. Keep him. We was also curious if you had any insight of how he felt it went. The distance is keeping me from rushing it. Okay, let's take a look. So what do we need to know about this connection? So it was in this order. So 7 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, 4 of Wands. All right, so 7 of Pentacles makes sense. You know, kind of taking your time, taking it slow, reassessing the situation, and kind of being cautious before you put yourself completely into it. This can also mean that, you know, it's something worth like tending to, like letting your flowers grow. When I see the 7 of Coins, I think about planting seeds and then taking your time until it fully develops. This is a card that requires patience. This is also talking about not putting all of your eggs in one basket. So I don't see you as being someone who's like, oh, I'm committed, I'm in a relationship. But I don't see you steering away from this either. You know, you're going to see how it plays out over a period of a couple months and see if it like really turns into something. And it will require time on both of your guys' part, whether that's to see each other or making more of an effort to kind of bridge the gaps in the distance. In the current position is the 5 of Cups. So I'm wondering, like, since you saw him, has there been like less communication? Have you felt like, okay, there is a eagerness or a willingness to want to meet up again, but there has not been much since? Sometimes the 5 of Cups can come up where you're kind of losing faith, or there is a sense of feeling a little disappointed that there hasn't been as much communication back and forth since then. I'm wondering if that's the case, because there can be this feeling of being like, okay, we had something and now I'm not hearing anything. When I see this card, there is the back turned. You see the 3 of Cups that are spilled over, and then he doesn't see the 2 of Cups that's being offered to him. So it's saying rather than being hung up on worrying about, oh, are they going to meet someone else? Are they interested in someone else? Be more focused on the fact that they are willing and wanting to kind of connect with you in the future. Can also be saying like take an initiative, you know, be the person who's going to spearhead the situation. And rather than waiting to hear from them, you might kind of reach out and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. You know, looking forward to hanging out again. Opening that door, letting him know that you're not, you know, you're not kind of like disconnecting. It's not like a, hey, we'll hang out when I'm in town type of thing. Wanting to kind of continue that connection. So this card says, sometimes it's about regret, failure, disappointment, being pessimistic, feeling abandoned, unloved, or discontent. So you don't want to be in that spot, right? You don't want to be in that spot. And he says, we still talk, but not as much. Well, the good news is the 4 of Wands seems to indicate there's going to be another connection. So 4 of Wands is temporary spaces. So it's things like, hey, I'm going to be in the city for a party, or I'm coming for the weekend, or there's going to be a show that I'm going to go and see. You know, do you want to come with me? This is talking about getting together and doing something that's involving like socializing or the arts or groups of other people. So when this card comes up, it's saying there's another opportunity that's going to bring the 2 of you guys together socially. This card says homecoming, celebration, harmony, marriage, family, friends, reunions, community gatherings, stability, and belonging. And so this is about Venus being in Aries, which we're going to see actually at the end of March. So timing wise, this can be in about like, what is that, like a month and a half? And clear into April. So that's probably a time where you're going to see more opportunities to be able to connect. You know, being that you've got a Cancer rising, this is also when you're seeing planets that are going to be just leaving the conjunction to Saturn. So if in the next month you're planning some kind of traveling or some kind of, you know, reconnection in the city, you can let them know, hey, I'm going to be there. And I do see like you guys coming together again and being able to do something and having a good time. Still, the 4 of Wands is saying it needs time to grow. And the confirmation card that I got for this is the Hierophant, which talks about, once again, taking your time, but it also is about your guys' beliefs on relationships. You know, I kind of get the feeling if you guys hang out again, what's going to come up for you is you guys are going to be talking about where you're at in terms of what you're looking for with potential commitment. You know, Capricorn risings are really set to have some really significant romantic connections this year. Because Jupiter and Uranus are meeting in their 5th house. So it means that, you know, there's going to have this whole love affair in the spring. It's going to be somebody that they may have to be traveling back and forth to see. And I really feel like I would give this up until May to see how it goes. And the next opportunity you have to see them, keep things light and fun, especially if you're around other people. But eventually I see you having a conversation and discussing what it is that you guys are both kind of looking for. And if you guys are on the same page in terms of like, you know, serious dating and relationships, your social life as a Cancer rising is going to be like off the hook with Jupiter and Uranus in your 11th house. So there's going to be lots of opportunity to socialize and go and do things with people. And relationships get better at a distance because your 7th house ruler is in the 9th house. You're going to have to kind of travel and go back and forth, right? So hopefully that's helpful. Let us know how it goes. And definitely there's interest there. Don't think he's not interested. Let's see. Thanks, Ness. I'll add you to my list. Yeah, and it was Dave's birthday too. We've got all the Aquarians having their birthday. All right, so who else do we have here? We've got, did I hear from Elizabeth? Elizabeth. I'm going to keep checking in. I can give you 3 cards if you want, but I'm going to do a general reading for you. So this will be for Elizabeth. And then Lori, Vanessa, and Dorothy, you guys are on deck. This is for you, my dear Elizabeth. World card, Judgment, Fool. Whoa. Holy cow. So basically, we've got 3 majors here. The Fool card talks about taking chances, leaps of faith. new opportunities, new beginnings, sometimes moving, sometimes starting new jobs, new relationships, and like anything goes. So it's kind of saying you're giving yourself the freedom to start over or to initiate some new phase in your life. When this card comes up, it can be talking about like leaping into the unknown. Not knowing exactly where you're moving, but knowing you're moving. Not knowing where a relationship is going, but being in it. Being present in the moment and like really learning to get outside of your comfort zone and take risks seems to be the theme. Then we have the Judgment card coming up, which talks about like serious decisions and determinations that's being made about some of these, new things that you're starting. The Judgment card says judgment, final decisions, absolutions, wake-up call, inner calling, life purpose, self-evaluation, awakening, and reckoning. So I like that going hand in hand with the Fool card. I really feel like on one hand, the Fool is talking about beginnings and the World card is talking about endings and cycles and completing things. Maybe it means that you're moving through lessons much more quickly. Maybe it means that you're not wasting any time and you're like, I don't want to keep going round and round learning the same lessons. I really want to close the door in certain areas of my life right now. Make the decision to say, no, I'm actually starting fresh and I'm moving on. So it can be from relationships, job stuff, old habits and old patterns, right? The Fool can be literally about liberation and freeing yourself. And also choosing yourself, because the Judgment card does seem to kind of talk about making a conscious decision to say, okay, because of what's happened, now I am going to actually start something new. Now the World card also for you is like a card that comes up that talks about like karmic goodies, completion, positive completion. So where maybe you felt like you've been struggling to like close the door in certain areas in your life in the past or break free from things, now it's like happening very quick. And I've heard this a lot from people. Maybe you guys feel the same way, but now with Pluto in Aquarius, it almost seems like change is happening so much faster. Since 2008, we've had Pluto in Capricorn, and with Pluto in Capricorn, slow, steady, having to work really hard for changes. And now Pluto in Aquarius is like upgrading very quickly, and we're kind of leveling up when it comes to our goals, and we're making sweeping changes. Has connections to the Fool card, because that's that energy of Uranus where we're like suddenly making a big jump. And I think for you, it's about saying, okay, I'm ready to start these new cycles. I'm going to be leaving some stuff behind. I'm choosing me, and also choosing to go in a direction that maybe you've never gone in before, and you're doing the polar opposite of what you have always done. So you're maybe learning to say yes to things. Maybe you're deciding that you want to travel to new places. You're open to new relationships or new jobs. And the World card is basically saying that you're clearing personal karma in the process, and you're going to be rewarded for taking these chances. And it's going to give you like lots of blessings in the process. This can also be about travel. These two cards are travel cards that come up here as well. So I'm really curious, like what's changing in your life for the Fool card and the World card to be coming up that you're like, okay, I'm really ready to like start this new thing. Let me know. Thank you very much. I got you. Is it Takaya? Am I saying your name correctly? I will add you to my list. Thanks. Tamara, I've got you. I'll check it in a second. I'll give you guys an update of who's on my list in just a second here. We will probably leave the sign up for like another 5 minutes or so, and we'll close it down. So that was for, who was that for? That was for Elizabeth. And next we have Lori, Vanessa, and Dorothy. You guys are all on deck. But so is Stephanie, Todman, Wendy, Emiko. Then we have got Tamara and Neerman and Patty. Okay, so if you heard your name, I've got you. David says, anybody know if Rob's still here? I don't think he is. I think he's celebrating his birthday dinner, probably. We'll see. All right, so let's take the next person on my list. We've got Lori, Vanessa, and then Dorothy. All right, so Lori says, what's up, Candace? I run a bakery business out of my home. My husband and I think that this might be the year to open up a brick and mortar. He thinks we should shoot really big and try to get investors. I'm more conservative and wonder if a smaller shop might be the best step first. What do the cards say? Should we even pursue it at all? Let's take a look. So this is going to be for you, Lori, in regards to your home bakery business. Go big or stay small, grow slowly. What do the cards say? Is it even a good move at all? So in this order, so we've got King of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Seven of Swords. And it is crossed with a confirmation card because I think you need it, of the Ace of Swords. In this case, literally the tarot is mirroring what you just said. My husband thinks one thing, I think another thing. I'm unsure if this is a good idea, if this is trustworthy. And it's literally mirroring what you said. So we've got the King of Swords, which I think is representing, it can be your husband, what your husband is telling you, who's like, this is what we do, these are the connections we make, this is what we put out there, this is who we connect with. And like somebody who's also like very business minded, like he's really intelligent, like he's got a good idea and a good like marketing plan is what it seems like for going and bringing other people in, and is more than willing to help you and also spearhead some of this. However, I will say that seems to be in conflict with the Queen of Swords, this Queen of Cups, because the Cups is emotional, the Swords is kind of like intellectual, right? So it represents masculine and feminine energy. Queen of Cups is like sensitive, emotional, intuitive, but it's about being like, hold on, I don't want to rush it, right? Because that's feminine energy. It's like, I want to grow it. I want to take my time. I want to kind of like really allow this to kind of happen on its own. And also it's about it being like a labor of love. I'm not saying you can't have a business that is successful and that you have somebody invest in and like not love it. But my concern is that because this energy is very direct, linear, let's get investors, let's grow it, let's turn it into this thing. To me, it kind of is in conflict with what the Queen of Cups wants. She's like, but I really love doing this and this is something that I enjoy, and like I want to feel like I have control over it, and I want to feel like I'm not emotionally overwhelmed, right? So something about that makes me feel like the conflict is that either intuitively or where your emotions are at, you're not feeling that. You're not so sure that's a good idea. Seven of Swords comes up. So this is a card about not trusting things, being unsure, maybe feeling like there can be some kind of catch, or, maybe you're questioning, do I really want to take investors? What if I, end up not liking who I'm working with? Can I really trust other people? I think it's going to be more about the concerns of feeling like you're not going to have control over it. Once you're taking money from other people and potentially it becomes this big thing, is it still yours, right? And are you kind of feeling like you're losing a sense of control over like your baby because the Queen of Cups nurtures something? So the Seven of Swords is about sometimes feeling deceived or, feeling like something is not necessarily connecting. It can mean that there can be some issues where people can be a little sneaky, they can be a little cunning, and it's about whether or not you can trust them. Now, the answer to this, right, is the Ace of Swords, which means, okay, if you have a solid contract, if you have an agreement, if it's legally drawn up, if everything is very clear and cut and dry, maybe you take investors and it's like, look, you can invest, but we're still going to have a mass, percentage of the ownership of the business. We're going to have the final say in things. And it's legally, kind of taken care of. Yeah, you could do it. I feel like this is a card that talks about having to have the difficult conversations and being like, look, I don't want to take on too much too soon. Feeling like, yeah, it's a great idea, but does it really align with your vision? Do you feel like there is going to be too much too soon? And this is just my hot take on where things are kind of going astrologically. I kind of try to keep it real with people. I try to be as optimistic as possible, but I'm also a realist. There are some huge shifts coming, okay? Jupiter conjunct Uranus in the spring. We're going to see major issues with the banking system. We're going to see stuff kind of blow up. We're also going to see an ingress of Jupiter into Gemini, where we're going to see more issues with layoffs, and we're going to see, I think, higher inflation rates. Then we get into second half of the year where Jupiter and Saturn are going to square. So it's also not as positive and optimistic. It actually lessens the effects of a Jupiter transit. And then finally, we are going to see going into next year, Pluto will fully be in Aquarius. We're going to see Saturn and Neptune go into Aries. Essentially, the best thing you can do is do as much independently as you can. If you can keep running your business to a point where you're like, you know what, let's make as much money as we can with the lowest cost of overhead, I would recommend doing that. If you want to get into where you're having like a commercial kitchen space that you're renting with someone, so you have more space and you're getting out of your house and you can start creating larger orders, I would start there. If you want to get into brick and mortar, just take into consideration economically, things are going to be still a little rocky here for like the next year or so. So you really want to pick the best timing to be able to do some of this stuff. And I feel like with your card saying, you know, that you're not entirely sure if that's a good idea, I don't just think it's because it's about taking on too much too soon. I think that it's for you maybe losing sight of what, like this thing that you love doing and you're like, I love this. Doesn't mean it can't be a business, but it does mean that you really need to think about your overall vision. And once you start taking other people's money who's going to be investing into this stuff, you might start to feel like you're losing control of what it is. Have these conversations with him. You know, who's to say you can't start by having a commercial kitchen space that it's a shared space that you can do on a schedule with other like independent bakers where you can have larger orders, you can create that space. Maybe you can start selling also to retail and then go from there and see if it makes sense for you to do that down the road. But I would say this to anybody who's considering doing anything brick and mortar over like the next year, because I think it's going to be really hard to get funding for some small independent businesses. Let me know how that goes. What kind of stuff do you bake? I would love to hear. I've gotten into baking sourdough. I have my own starter that I've been baking. I have to feed it like every other day, you know, and I'm trying to figure out what I can make with it all the time. So there's been a lot of dough in this house. Good luck with your business, Lori. I've got Vanessa, Dorothy, Stephanie, and then Wendy. Last call will be in a minute. You're very welcome. Vanessa says, hi, I'm torn about getting a second job or going back to school. I'm stuck on what to study as well. Any guidance on what would be the best choice for me and when the best time to do it would be? Ooh, croissants are hard to make. That's impressive. I love that. Okay, so this is going to be for you, Vanessa, in regards to work and making some of those changes. Ooh, I get the Lovers card. So that can be talking about two choices and two options. So you're Cancer rising, your sun is in Virgo in the third house. Administrative, you could do like IT related things. You could do anything revolving around processing documents. That's something that you would be good at, having that Virgo sun there. I think about being a Cancer rising and Saturn's going in your ninth house. And so that does talk about going into something that can still be healthcare related, or some kind of healthcare management, you know, that you could be doing. I also think about Pluto going into your eighth house, so it can be more about insurance and billing. These are other things that you can consider. But the Lovers card is a funny card because this talks about something that you're really passionate about, something that you really enjoy doing. You know, eclipse is starting in your 10th house. I mean, it's very clear. If you want to go back to school, it's something you might consider literally at some point this year with Saturn in your ninth. You're about to have a solar eclipse in your fourth, and then you're about to have a solar eclipse in your 10th house of career, and then you're going to have Jupiter go into your 12th house. So April through June is probably when you would go back to school, basically. And the Lovers card is really kind of saying, like, it's got to be something that you feel like brings balance into your life. It can be where you're offering some kind of service or support for other people. This is a card that's also about like relationships and partnerships. So does it mean that you want to go into some kind of counseling or therapy? Do you want to work in hospitality? Are you considering doing work that's going to be more, helping people who may be in need? Especially I think about like nonprofit jobs with Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in your 12th house. Social work, that's something else that you would do really well. I really feel like it's got to be about helping other people. And so with Saturn being in the ninth house, you would go and need to get like the skills necessary or the degree necessary to show that you're capable of doing that. And you would be able to start that this year. I would look into like certification and training. You know, that's something you could do. On the flip side, another option is Saturn going into the ninth house is like working in publishing, working in education, getting a teaching degree. Maybe you're transcribing things for people because you have a third house Virgo sun. So you could do transcription. You could do, work as somebody who is doing like paralegal work. You could go and do like editing and, helping people who are wanting to do, like writing copy. Like that's another option. But it's got to be something you love to do. And you need to feel like you have some kind of like role where, you can be independent in what you're doing because of the eclipses in your 10th house. In 2 years' time, Saturn and Neptune will go into your 10th house. And I think that's perfect to be in like a career or a field where you're helping other people. So you would make the decision basically this year to go and start getting, either a degree or a certification in that. So that way you can get more into that. And I would be looking at like nonprofit work or work that you could potentially be doing with the city. And it would still keep you busy with that sun in the third house. You'd have like people you'd work with and you'd have to kind of travel around and connect with people and you'd have to like file obviously some stuff. But you've got enough Cancer placements that I feel like you would do really well working with people when it comes to home and housing situations. Okay. Consider your options. The Lover's card says you could do more than one thing. May, June is when you're going to start looking at stuff timing wise. Hopefully that's helpful. We've got Dorothy. What's up, Dorothy? Dorothy says, it's like deja vu. Gemini rising, Aries sun, Pisces moon. I was interviewed for a job today. I am curious what the cards say about if I will move forward and if there's anything to look out for. You got it. Let's take a look. So, let's see. How did this job interview go? What's it looking like? It is like deja vu. I keep saying I want off the merry-go-round. The Sabian symbol is so bang on. I cannot do mutable transits. I'm all Capricorn and Scorpio, so it's like anything mutable. I'm like, this is crazy town. I don't know how people do it. So I've got Page of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. It's not usual that I'm like, yeah, it's a sure shoe-in, but like that's what these cards seem to kind of indicate. Page of Cups can be an offer, so it can mean, hey, we really liked connecting with you. It can mean that there's also like a follow-up that you do that's saying, hey, thanks for making the time to meet with me. I'm really excited to hear more about, the opportunities with this position. I hope you keep me in consideration, like follow up, because this is about making that kind of connection and opening the door for the offer. But obviously, this also means that you're optimistic about this interview, or there is this feeling that's like, I just really feel like this is a good fit for me, or I really feel like this is going to be a position where I'm going to be happy, or I'm going to enjoy my job, because pages look at things like with a sense of like, oh, anything is possible, and they're really, they're idealistic about what's coming. 10 of Pentacles, which is about securing a position, long-term planning, something that pays, career success, moving into a new position, and something that also has room for growth or long-term planning. So when this card comes up, whether it's a relationship or it's a job, it means that it has room to grow. Like you have the ability to kind of do this in a long-term position. This is great for money and financial opportunities. This card says dynasty, leaving a legacy, inheritance, wealth, financial security, long-term success, roots, family privilege, and new things that are coming for you that could potentially give you a leg up in regards to your career. So this would be another sign if somebody was asking me about a career, interview or, how is it going to go? Did I get the job? This would be one of the things that I would want to pull. Final card is the Ace of Swords, which talks about an offer, a contract, them proposing something to you, getting an email or a phone call, likely within a month. Ace of Swords for me is about a month. And this is about an opportunity to start something new. So new information, signing something, agreeing to something, success, mental clarity, feeling more optimistic in communication. I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious that you're going to get a big thumbs up on this. I do wonder if this is also, if you haven't spoken numbers, or if you haven't talked about, what the salary is or what the benefits are. That may be the next step. They might say, well, we're prepared to offer you X amount of money, for the role, and this would be your salary, and this would be the benefits. If they don't spell it out, ask, because the Ace of Swords is about that negotiation, being like, okay, let's get it in paper. So when you physically have the proposal, or when they say, hey, we want to give you the job, ask them to give you or forward you, all of the expectations for the job or for the role, and also what the time off is going to be, what the benefits are, what you're getting out of it, so you can see the whole package, so you have something that you can refer to back on paper. That seems to be really important. So you really know what the job is going to entail. But it looks pretty positive for me. Circle back around and let us know what happens, because I definitely feel like you're gonna be pleased with what they're offering you. Good luck with the new potential job. We have Stephanie, and she says, my job at the show I'm working is ending in April. Just wanted to know if I will be asked to come back and work for the upcoming season, or will I be working on something new? Thanks, Dorothy. All right, Steph, let's take a look. Let's see what is happening with this job. Will she come back for the next season, or will she be doing something new? In this order, 10 of Cups, the Strength, and the 7 of Wands. Well, I mean, they would be happy to have you back. That's kind of the feeling that I get with the 10 of Cups, because this talks about, reunions, coming together, being able to do work together. I kind of feel like, you're really doing your due diligence to like more than pull your weight at this job. 7 of Wands is about staying on top, really making sure that, you're doing the necessary work. People are seeing you put that effort in, and they're also seeing that, like, you're a force to be reckoned with. I always say it's like king of the hill. You're not letting anybody kind of like knock you off your position. And I don't really think that there's anybody that could necessarily do the job that you're doing right now. So there's nobody who's currently there that would take that position from you. You're solid. This is about standing your ground, and also feeling really confident in the work that you have done. So I don't really see them as going into the next season being like, oh, we're going to replace her. It almost seems as if like, well, she's been the one who's been doing this. Like, obviously we would bring her back. The Strength card also talks about not holding on to something, letting something come to you. So obviously it's about approaching the end of the season being like, okay, I'm happy to come back if they want me, but I'm not going to feel like I need to, have anything that's guaranteed or any conversations about it. It's about just being like, nope, if I'm meant to come back, I'll come back. It can talk about returning sometime closer to July or August. So I don't know what the timing is, if they would film back to back like that, but usually this talks about either when there are, transits in Leo, or when we're getting kind of closer to Leo season. So ends in April, May, June, July, so about 3 months. So I don't know what the timing would be, but this does seem to kind of indicate you may be back working on this around summertime. This card says self-love, respect, unconditional love, inner strength, influence, compassion, persuasion, and inner stillness. So once again, it's like letting that come to you, not feeling like you have to control the situation. And then also, the 10 of Cups in the final position, for me, that's the yes, harmony, unifying, coming together, feeling like you have that sense of support system, and like work almost kind of being like your family group. Right? Because 10 of Cups can talk about like happy ever after. And this is about love and support. So if it's not in a relationship sense, it's about being like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I'm able to continue to connect with these people. But it's also about growth. So it might mean that you're kind of like sentimental, and you're like, wow, I've worked on this for a couple seasons. Now I'm really seeing like the show begin to grow and like unfold. And I feel like I've created a family here. And them being happy to have you. So I don't see them trying to replace you. I don't even really see them even focusing on next season yet. So you'll have to let me know how long they generally take in between like seasons. But I would assume over the summer you're able to kind of come back and they would be more than happy to have you, you know, stay on the team. But also the Strength card means there's going to be lots of opportunity for you. So you're going to have to go wherever you feel called to go. But if that's where you like being, then I think you'll return. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Let's see, who do we have next? Hey, Deanna, I just saw you. How's it going? Thanks, Ness. I appreciate it. Okay, so we have got Wendy, Emiko, Tamara, Neerman, and Patty and Kimberly. You guys are who is left. Let's see what Wendy says. Wendy says, will I get a new stable job with my desired income and benefits any time soon? So let's see what Wendy's cards are about a new stable job with all the benefits and the things that we want. Do we see that coming for her soon? Ooh, the card that I get is the Hierophant. So timing-wise, you're looking at like end of April, beginning of May. The Hierophant is a cool card. I would be looking at like when the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is taking place. That's going to be in mid-April. The Hierophant's about leveling up, getting into a position that's highly sought after, getting into a position of not necessarily authority. That'd be more like the Emperor, but like where there's like a very respectable position, right? So you could be like a manager, you could be somebody who is like a team leader. This can also represent, you know, being in a situation where you're really leveling up in your career. Specifically, this card connects to when Mercury is in Taurus. So that specific timing is generally going to be like April, May when Mercury's there. But this card also talks about spiritual wisdom, beliefs, tradition, what's conventional, education, knowledge, and belief systems, and doing something also that is more so like in your path, right? This is about when you really kind of realize what you're meant to do, where you're meant to be, who you're meant to be with. And I wonder like what kind of work you do. Do you do work that is connected to education? Do you do anything that's about leadership? Is there anything where this is about guiding groups of people? Because that's usually what the Hierophant represents. This can also mean that it's like a really important time to go and speak with somebody who can be like a mentor to you, or maybe you're meeting with like a job coach, or, you know, maybe you're in a situation where you're considering like working with somebody who is like a headhunter, like somebody who like knows what positions are needing to be filled, and you meet with them and they're like, oh, you have all of these amazing qualities. I think you'd be really, you know, a great candidate for this job. Let me connect you. Somebody who will be able to kind of give you that advice, right? That's what you want to be connecting with between now and May. And I do feel like something is going to pop up that's going to make you feel like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for. Because you might feel like you've been passing on other opportunities because they haven't quite cut it, or it's not the salary that you want, or it's not starting when you want it to start, and you've been holding out for like the right thing. The Hierophant is usually when that thing shows up and you're like, that's the position that's going to put me on the map. So watch for that time. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks, Ness. I do have them next. So Takaya, you have three cards. She says, I have 3 kings showing up in my reading for months. King of Cups, Wands, and Pentacles. What are these energies, please? Well, the one king that's missing is the King of Swords. So generally when you have, in my opinion, 3s coming up, it can talk about that there's some shift going on, maybe around 3 people, but I think that there's something shifting around those elements, right? Taking more initiative when it comes to money and business, taking more initiative when it comes to relationships and romance, when it comes to creativity. The element that's missing is going to be air. So that means that you can integrate more air into your life, writing your manifestations, doing breath work, setting intentions. It can be also about learning and speaking up more. But let's see what the cards say, if there's any insight into why these three kings are coming up. So let's take a look. What do we need to know? What is this connected to? So this was the order that they came in. There's that Hierophant again. 10 of Wands, the Justice card, and the Hierophant. Well, I think it's the universe wanting you to know that you don't have to carry all of the responsibility when it comes to your life on your own. So it can mean that you're seeking more support in relationships with other people and not wanting to feel like you have to do it all by yourself. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, like it's about realizing that it's time to kind of let somebody kind of come in and help you build. The 10 of Wands can be a card that's about feeling like you're getting to the end of your rope when it comes to relationships. You're getting to your end of your rope when it comes to like a work situation, or feeling like there's a lot of burdens on your plate and you're right at the verge of like kind of throwing in the towel. But when the 10 of Wands comes up, it's saying like you're completing something, you're learning a lesson, you're leveling up. This is a card that says too many burdens, extra responsibilities, effort, stress, and exhaustion, feeling burnt out, obligated, and struggling. So this is in the past position. The reason why I correlate this with relationships is because the Justice card came up, right? So it's about you reassessing things, being like, how could bringing somebody into my life benefit me? Like, what kind of qualities am I looking for in a partnership or a relationship? How can I bring somebody in or bring more of this balance into my life with the support of another person? So the Justice card, okay, talks about maybe the eclipse in Libra at the end of March. It can also be talking about finding the balance and being able to bring in the necessary elements in relationships so that way you don't feel like you're doing so much by yourself. It's interesting that the element that was missing is air, and here is a card that deals specifically with an air sign that's coming up. The Justice card says this is about justice, fairness, universal laws, karma, cause and effect, truth being revealed, legal truth, accountability, and consequences. So maybe what you're looking at is being like, hey, you know what? Do I want to be in a situation where I feel like, you know, I've got somebody by my side and they see that I'm struggling and they're not showing up to bat for me? You know, and really reevaluating some of your relationships, being like, if you're not paying my bills or bringing me peace or giving me support, what exactly are you bringing to the table? And so there's going to be some shift that's going to go on in relationships, and it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be family relationships, friends, you know, relationships with people at work, and really kind of reassessing, you know, some of these relationships and making sure that it's not all, you know, all give and no take. There needs to be a sense of other people meeting you halfway. Hierophant coming up. This can talk about like commitments in relationships. You know, traditionally I would see like the Hierophant and the Justice card being about contemplating serious commitment and marriage. This can literally mean that you're like, maybe there is a benefit of being married. You know, maybe I do need that grounding energy in my life, or maybe it would be nice to feel like I have a support system and I don't have to do it by myself. The Hierophant can talk about going and getting some kind of support, somebody who you're working with who's like a counselor or a therapist, or somebody who's giving you advice about relationships, especially when it comes to choosing the right person. Not just choosing what looks good or feels good or what might be easy, but somebody who's giving you some hard truths about relationships and choosing the best partner who could potentially be by your side. The signs that come up for you is the Justice card, which is Libra, and the Hierophant, which is Taurus. So these talk about these two particular energies being really important in your life right now. I think that Hierophant's maybe coming up, and it's saying like, think long and hard about what you want in regards to relationships. You know, if you want them at all, but think about what you want. What are you building? Where are you going? If you're not in relationships that are enriching your life, then you might feel like it's time to kind of cut certain people out. Right? Because you're thinking more so about like long-term goals and feeling like you're actually growing with another person rather than feeling like you're doing life separately. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of Hierophant tonight coming up, which makes sense. You know, I mean, I think the transits in Taurus are going to be about a lot of people's, a lot of their values changing, right? Ironically, like this is a card that's about being conservative, right? And so we've got Jupiter, which can be about truth and wisdom in Taurus, coming into conjunction with Uranus, and we're going to see a lot of people that are going to be talking about conservative values. Even if you don't consider yourself a conservative, we're going to see a lot of people talking about marriage and commitment and how valuable it is to have someone or something you can rely on, whether it's a solid income stream or a partner. And a lot of people also talking about integrity and like focusing on things that are going to be a rock when we're kind of in the midst of some of these astrological storms. So I think that this is maybe you kind of investing, yourself or your energy a little bit more in finding somebody who could be that rock for you, and maybe being a little bit more open to, commitment, as long as you can find the right person. So who knows, maybe you'll have 3 kings show up, right? But definitely focus on that air element, communicate and talk more with people and ask them what they're looking for, have these conversations with them so you kind of see where they're coming from. I keep telling people, like, being conservative is like the new punk rock thing to do. Everybody's going to be like having gardens and babies and stuff. And that's going to be like, that's the new alternative lifestyle. Hopefully that's helpful. We've got Amiko. What's up, Amiko? Feeling a bit stuck and in a lull here in Maui, wondering if I should make the move to a neighboring island in Oahu. Ideally would love to go back and forth between both islands, but right now I'm not financially able to do that, to be honest. I can't really see myself living in Oahu full time. City life again, but life on Maui has been different since the fires, and I feel like there isn't a lot for me here at the moment. I'm working remotely and barely making it, so moving would be a lot financially. Any advice is appreciated. Sun in Aries, Pisces rising, Taurus moon. Well, the fact that you're going to have an eclipse that's going to happen in your second house could be some money changes. Jupiter hitting your moon in the 3rd house is probably indicative of an April through, I would say, July move. You want to look for also when Jupiter goes into your 4th house. This is going to provide an opportunity for a second home or living situation over the summer. So let's take a look. Let's see on what the cards seem to indicate. Ace of Coins, Page of Swords, 2 of Cups. So some kind of opportunity that's coming your way that's going to enhance your finances, right? That's going to make it possible for you to do that. When do I see money changes? Eclipses in the 2nd house. So you're about to have that. When do I see moves? Jupiter on the moon, Jupiter Uranus in the 3rd, Jupiter in the 4th. You're going to have that too. So for me, I think it's going to be May onward. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to happen immediately, because the Ace of Coins says more of the focus right now is drumming up some money, having more resources. So you feel like you have more freedom, Page of Swords, to move around. I also feel like this is new opportunities that are coming your way. I mean, I would be doing some major money manifesting during the solar eclipse in Aries. Literally sit down, write your intentions, burn them. You don't have to do anything crazy other than that. And this is an opportunity for you to be reassessing where you're living and what you're spending in a living situation. I do think that the Page of Swords can be talking about a message that's coming your way about new financial opportunities, maybe even a new or a second job. This is about communication, being curious, mentally alert, feeling inspired, and getting some kind of a message. And the 2 of Cups is about partnership, harmony, or somebody who wants to help you. I feel like it's going to be an offer possibly for another job or some extra opportunity for, making a little bit more income, and also having some assistance, having some companionship of some kind. Do I need anything for those opportunities to come in? I got another reading that said I'm stuck because I don't know what I want. Well, I mean, the cards don't seem to indicate you're stuck. The confirmation card that I got for the 2 of Cups, because I was trying to figure out, well, what's the offer, means that you're weighing your options or you're indecisive. My advice is, because you're a Pisces rising, that you don't do anything until it feels right. Probably what's going to happen here when planets start coming into conjunction with Saturn is you're going to have a better understanding of what you want. Also, these eclipses that are going to take place in your financial houses are going to be involving the rulers, conjunct Saturn. So it's all up to you what you decide to do. You want to see what changes with support from other people around the lunar eclipse at the end of March, and then it's going to provide likely new resources at the beginning of April, which I think this is what this is about.
pick more where you want to land. I guess that's the advice I can give you, especially knowing that really for the next year or so with Jupiter in your 4th, you might kind of go back and forth. I think it's important for you. It's not about not knowing what you want. It's not being indecisive, because the 2 of coins indicates that you're kind of going back and forth. Like, you have to visualize where it is that you want to be and commit to that. And also it might mean that you're just taking on more work where you're living now before you ultimately kind of make the jump, which I think will be between May and, like I said, July. I also feel like this is about putting your feelers out there and seeing like what kind of work is potentially needed. So if you can work remotely, you could be anywhere. But Page of Swords and the 2 of Cups is like literally going and seeing like, you know, what job availabilities there are, especially if it's something that you can do remotely, if you're able to take on more remote work, or if you're able to do work that can kind of be like, you know, like contract, or you can do stuff that can kind of be like independent, just to kind of get some extra resources. But I do think that there's going to be a relationship that's going to come in that's going to help you, because the 2 of Cups usually is about a person or an opportunity that's offered to you that you're like, oh yeah, I'll take that, you know, and you could do it locally where you're at now. I don't think it's going to be on another island, but the whole goal is to be like, okay, I'm setting up a timeline. I'm committed to, you know, visualizing where I'm going to be. And the Ace of Coins and the 2 of Coins tells me that you're going to be doing this over like the next 2 to 3 months before you really get ready to make a move. So look for that. You know, probably when Jupiter and Uranus hit in April, you're going to have an opportunity to move, and you'll have the funds to be able to do that. And then you're kind of getting settled at some point by about July. So yeah, something's definitely coming in. And I feel like it could be like a relationship or like a contract that you have with somebody to do more work. Maybe you're doing some like marketing for them, or like maybe there's like a campaign that comes in that you're working on and you get like a chunk of change up front that makes it possible for you to be like, wow, they like my work and we can continue working together, really giving you the opportunity to grow, and like maybe offer something where they're paying you, you know, on a monthly fee for the work that you're doing because you're doing continual work for them. So you're kind of guaranteed to have a little bit more money coming in. But something like that is coming that's going to allow you to have the funds to be able to move. Visualize where you want to land. That's my advice to you, because with Pisces rising, you got Saturn and Neptune where you're really committed and then you're unsure. It's about learning how to really ground out those dreams and make it a reality. Hopefully that's helpful for you. I've got Tamara, Nerman, Patty, and Kimberly. Perfect. So yeah, it's gonna, I think you're gonna nail like a contract or something where you can work with somebody on a monthly basis. Let's see, who else do I have here? There we go. Only an acre. What is your question for me, my dear? Oh no, that was the wrong person. My bad. Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up. Ness, is that you? Are you Tamara? I'm not sure. I have Tamara H, who has 3 cards. Ness, you're next. That's who it is. I got you next. What's up, MJ? How are you? Tamara is a Pisces sun and rising and a Scorpio moon. I see you there. Do you have a question for me? It's raining like heck here, which matches my mood. All right. Tamara, are you here? Okay. Well, let's see if Tamara comes through. I'm going to take Ness. Thank you for helping with the Q, Ness. I appreciate it. Ness says, guidance on a job search. I lost my job last Thursday and I don't want to be manic about it. All right, well, let's take a look. This is for you, Ness, and then Tamara, I'll take you next. All right, so let's see what we can find in regards to maybe some guidance on the job search. Don't worry, I'll take Tamara next. This is the cards that I have.
Three of Pentacles, Five of Swords, Ten of Wands. So Three of Pentacles is talking about doing the legwork, getting out there and trying to find something, maybe a couple different options that are going to pop up. So you might look for more than one thing at a time, a couple different options. You know, this is about team effort and also pooling your energy. So I think it's about not just saying I'm looking for jobs, but like posting a resume, updating a resume, putting it on a job search. Like you want to kind of hit all your bases. This may also mean that like you're putting yourself out there and kind of letting other people know, hey, this is like, I'm available. These are all the things that I can do. Like the more places that you're putting yourself out there, the better, because it's going to make it more so likely that people are going to see you and like want to work with you because they're going to see you being proactive. Candace predicted the job loss a month or so back. I'm sorry to hear that. Five of Swords is coming up. So this is about conflict, feeling a little agitated, also feeling like maybe you're still coming off of, you know, the job that got cut, and some of the issues or the drama that may have come from that. This is a card that's about unfair defeat or feeling like the job ended for an unfair reason. This can also be about feeling like there's a lot of competitiveness. So it's kind of like, man, it's hard out there. You're trying to find something. Don't let that get you down. All right. Five of Swords is a minor arcana card. So it's just right now. It might indicate that there is a period of about 5 to 10 weeks that you're going to be working on this and trying to find something. 10 of Wands comes up, which does talk about feeling overwhelmed and the burdens, but also getting to a point where you're about feeling like you're going to give up and then something shifts. Confirmation card you get is the Strength card. So this is an interesting opportunity for you. It's almost like saying, okay, you know, do you want to go in the same direction as the work that you did prior, or do you want to do something different, or do you want to bring something new in, right? And also bringing in something that's right for you, because Five of Swords talks about conflicting energy, or where like what you were putting into it, it was not a fair exchange, or maybe you felt like the working dynamic was combative or confrontational. And like really realizing like, you know what, I don't have to continue to go working in some of these dynamics. I don't have to put myself out there like that. I don't have to be in a situation where there is this like kind of catty competitiveness or, you know, conflict. And 10 of Wands sometimes in the final position can be about letting it all go and looking at it from a sense of being like, I'm not going to harbor any, you know, ill will or feelings because of what happened. I'm going to release it. I'm going to let it go because I know something better is coming. So much of this is happening with Pluto right now. It's about people having some harsh realities that jobs are ending, relationships are ending, home situations are ending, but it's ending for the better. So when you start celebrating the loss, going like, okay, woo, it ended, it's over, it got me out of there, that means something new is coming, it's going to actually help. And the Strength card can be, you know, kind of talking about opening yourself up to something that is really going to be better for you emotionally. It can also be a place where you're feeling like more welcomed or more appreciated, or being in an environment that is more creative, or potentially a situation where you feel like you have more room to grow, right? You're feeling wanted and appreciated where you are. She says, I'm already there, I'm surrendering, and I don't want to be manic about the job search. No, but what's interesting is like, you know, Three of Coins does indicate the more that you're kind of hitting all these bases and putting stuff out there, more so likely than not, you're going to find that, you know, people might be reaching out to you because you've updated a resume and you're putting out there what you can do, that it's going to open up different doors for the type of work that you can do. So if you're already in the I'm letting it go phase, then the next thing is going to be Strength, which obviously says self-love, respect. This is about inner strength, influence, compassion, persuasion, and inner stillness. So it's about knowing like, okay, I know this is happening for a reason, something better is coming, putting it out there, and also really playing up your personal talents and like what you're really good at creatively. And putting it out there in a way where you're like, look, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, and like creating a lot of like variation with like some of your skills and your assets and your background. So you may apply to, you know, a variation of different open positions that are out there. But yes, somewhere around, you know, up to 10 weeks, 5 to 10 weeks is like kind of what you're looking at. So if you're already down through one of those, you've got a couple more weeks to go. Definitely look at sites where you can be posting your information, where employers and other people might be looking. What did she say? I want to show up and do the work, but having a lot of expectations.
Linda G pulled that for me. Ace of Pentacles, the 5th card. I'm creative. Cool. Yeah, and it might also be about like letting your own talent shine, you know, or maybe you feel like where you weren't able to kind of fully express yourself. And with the Strength card coming up, it's about being like, no, I don't have to kind of hold back. I have more creative freedoms in the position that I'm going to be in. And also letting all of those good opportunities come to you. And I think that, yeah, if you're already in the letting go process, you've already done the hard part. now the easy part is going to be seeing what the universe is kind of putting in your path in place of that. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Let's see, Tamara. Now I've got you here. Just general cards for whatever comes up. You got it, girl. Let's see what the 3 cards are for you. I'm ready to launch a business, so maybe some guidance. Okay, you got it. What kind of a business are you launching? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I like these. Page of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment, things being granted. Page of Cups, I think, is a nice beginning. We've seen that a lot. I feel like this is a lot of people who are like being, maybe energetically, people are kind of leaning more into what their intuition is telling them right now, or they're learning to listen to their emotions more. Pages can be youthful people, younger people. So you're doing kids life coaching. That's great because pages are playful, creative, youthful energies, and it's also sensitive and emotional and intuitive. And the 6 of Pentacles is a cool card for the current position because it talks about a give and take. It's a lot of like, okay, I'm showing up, here is the service that I have. And people saying, yes, I need more of that. I want that, you know, help me, or what can you do for me, or what feedback can you give me? And developing relationships where you're able to like really utilize your best skills. Giving, receiving help, generosity, charity, sharing wealth, gratitude, support, community, and material help. So it's like if you're showing up and you're willing to do that work, the universe is going to say, okay, we've got people for you, and we're going to ensure that it's an active exchange. You're getting paid for what you're doing. And it feels good because you're able to kind of make a way while you're also helping people, right? And so with that Page of Cups coming up, yes, younger people in general, but also maybe it's about, you know, teaching kids how to be more aware of their emotions, you know, working with them in a way where you're helping kind of guide them, and maybe you're helping them become more aware of their emotions and therefore, you know, instilling better habits in them so they can relate better to other people, whether it's their parents or friends or others. And then the 9 of Cups in the, you know, future position. So wish fulfillment, content, satisfaction, emotional richness, abundance, success, recognition, pleasure, and achievements. So it feels good, basically, to feel like you're in alignment. You're doing the work that you feel called to do. It's an exchange. You're helping people, and people are providing for you. The universe is also helping you grow, and then you're getting what you want in the end goal is being met because you're feeling like this was your wish, right? So it's like everything's really aligning. And then the confirmation card that I got for this, because I was like, well, what was her wish? Was the Star card, which is the wish card. So this is about miracles, positivity, but being a part of the collective. Like maybe it's about you feeling like, I want to feel like I'm creating a contribution to future generations. I'm helping build community. I'm teaching people how to work together. I'm teaching them social skills too, because so much of this can be about social skills and learning how to reconnect. You know, for me, something I think about a lot over the last couple of years is like how many kids have become almost like shells, right? Because they haven't had a lot of social connection. There was periods of time where they were separated from other kids, sucked into screens and other things. And you've got a lot of people who are like, really, they don't know how to get their kids to socialize. So like we need more of this stuff where we can have active adults who are paying attention to them, helping them, learning them how to build relationships and foster I think connection to other people, so that way they're learning how to actually have a community and, you know, be better socialized. So I love seeing this. And I feel like, yeah, you're basically being rewarded because this is work that kind of needs to be done right now. So I'm really excited to see this launch. Good on you. It seems like you're doing the good work out there. Keep us updated. What's up, Patrick? How are you doing? He says, fell off the wagon a bit and got lost in all the current events. Well, it's easy to do that with all of the current events. It's nice to see you. We've got Patty and then Kimberly. Patty says, wondering where our relationship is going. I am a Libra rising, Cancer sun, Scorpio moon, with Venus in Leo. And he's a Pisces sun, Cancer moon, Scorpio rising, Aries Venus. Wowzers. So eclipses on his Venus, Saturn's in his fifth. We've been seeing each other almost 9 months, but feeling stuck. Is there a chance our relationship will advance? And how does he feel about me? Let's take a look. So this is for you, Patty, in regards to your Scorpio rising Pisces sun person. So in this order, Queen of Cups has come up a lot tonight. We've got Three of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. Working together towards a common goal, talking about ways that you guys can come together and focus on what you're building. I think about like Scorpio risings right now with Saturn going through their fifth house, and they're having to do a lot of work revolving around self-love, creativity, self-expression. And like they need to communicate and talk about their feelings more because Saturn rules their third house. And if you've got somebody who's in Aries Venus, you know, it means that they're going to go after where there is excitement and where there is opportunity to have fun. So I think that that also kind of ties into this Eight of Wands here, where it's more talking about not where are we going, but like, what are we doing? You know, like, what are we doing? What are we doing this week? Being more consistent in terms of like making plans and having stuff that you guys can do together. Three of Coins says collaboration, teamwork, skills, and also pooling your energy. So maybe it's about making more of an effort to feel like you guys are doing things consistently. This is also working as a team. So this isn't a super romantic card, but it is saying like, no, we're together, seeing it as we're building towards something. Then you have the Eight of Wands in the current position. So it talks about things shifting very quickly. Having more time for traveling, fun, spontaneity, hobbies, getting active together. That can be something you can do if they have Venus in Aries. Whether this is being like, hey, we're going to go and play tennis, or, you know, we're going to go to the gym together. They are going to be able to bond more with their partner when they're feeling like they can do something physically together. And if it's a Scorpio rising with Venus in the sixth, it also means that they need to feel like they're valuable, like they can fix something or they can do things for you. Because Venus in the sixth house does that. So if you're like in a situation where you're like, I need something that needs to be repaired, or, you know, like I need some assistance with, you know, like some kind of fitness routine, or, you know, I need somebody who can come over and help me solve a problem. They like that. That makes them feel needed. They want to feel handy. So another way that you can do this is by letting them know where you need some help or assistance. But also I think that Eight of Wands can be a card of passion. It can talk about kind of spicing things up a little bit and having some sexy date nights and trying to create more incentive to want to get together more often and having that physical spark and that connection. And then you have the Queen of Cups, which is, I think, you. So it can be talking about you as a Cancer sun, being emotionally connected and invested, hoping that this is something that's going to continue to grow. And the confirmation card that I get is the Page of Cups. I feel as if that maybe there's this feeling of being like, is this stunted? Why is it taking so long? You know, when am I going to see growth? One thing I'll tell you is with Jupiter and Uranus going into the seventh house for a Scorpio rising, right? That he has, you know, Jupiter rules the second house. So it's going to be about pleasure and it's going to be about travel. So I think about April, May, if you're doing these things where you're going on road trips or traveling or whatever, it'll bring you guys closer together. And it's also a really good time, I think, also to be indulging a little bit together. Taurus can be, you know, food, music, wine, shopping luxury. So there's more about talking about enjoying yourselves together, making more of an effort to feel like if you're not doing that, you're, indulging in fine, dinners at home, or maybe you guys are doing some like crafting or some other things together that you can be building or creating. And gardening can be something else that you can do that can be really enriching for the relationship. But there should be like significant growth in a relationship in April and May. But right now, yeah, you're feeling like it's a little stunted. But I think that you're going to find that within about 8 weeks' time, as we're getting closer to this time period, things might significantly start to kind of take off. But you need to integrate more of some of these like Jupiter things in the 7th house. So road trips, traveling, learning together, that's going to really help the relationship grow. And I think it's going to create more opportunities for adventure as well. But yeah, there's a connection there. He sees you as like a team, Hopefully that's helpful for you, Patty. And we've got Kimberly, who says, when should I refi the mortgage? Okay, let's take a look. Obviously, being a Cancer, you got Pluto now in Aquarius, so Mars and Venus are there right now, so you're probably already looking at your options. Venus is hitting Pluto today, so that's about making some changes in regards to your home situation. And Venus is between Pluto and Mars, so you're probably going to want to see when there is a positive aspect between Saturn and also your, trying to think, Cancer and then Leo. Saturn and the Sun, so there's going to be a Sun-Saturn conjunction pretty soon. So that'll be, let's see. Could be sometime around February 28th, 29th, right around then. Let's see what the cards say. So when could she or should she refinance the home stuff? Within the next month, that's for sure. Ace of Coins, that's a great card if you're wanting to refinance, getting a better deal. And then I get the Four of Swords. So it's talking about hold on, rest, recuperate, give yourself at least 4 weeks time to really make this decision. You'll have an opportunity to do that. I think it makes sense because, the 2 eclipses that we're going to have at the end of March, beginning of April, even though that's a little bit more than a month away, this is going to have conjunctions to Saturn, and Saturn is your traditional 8th house ruler. You're going to want to probably at the latest wait until the end of March based off of the transits and also what this card is saying. But Ace of Coins is about a new material offer, prosperity, stability, resources that are kind of coming through. So it does look like you'll be able to do that, but really giving yourself the full month to assess it. I personally would be careful right now, even though Mars and Venus are in your whole sign, 8th house from your sun, because Venus is going to be between Mars and Pluto. So you probably want to wait until Venus is outside of that conjunction anytime after the 23rd, right? If that makes sense. Does that make sense? And give yourself up to 4 weeks to suss that out. And then probably what you'll do is you'll make a decision, I'm going to assume, when we're getting closer to, the eclipse at the end of March. So give yourself up to 1 month. Okay, hopefully that's helpful, and hopefully you get a good rate. But you're already kind of looking. Let us know what happens. Good card. If you're wanting to refinance and you get an Ace of Coins, that's definitely what you want. Let's see. The say what? I submitted past the cutoff. I was confused by the chat. I'm not tech savvy. Does the third card get included in any further time? I already sent money. Hold on. I didn't see the update because we did do the cutoff. Let me see. Okay, I'll take your question. Is it Sasa? Am I saying your name correctly? Sasa? Sasa? I've dreamed about living abroad for a long time, but still haven't been able to save money, and I want to try it at the right time, yet it hasn't felt right. I'm in my 30s, and I have made next year my goal, but I'm wondering if the cards have anything to say on the timing, whether I will move abroad or when I'm related to changing career. If it's related to career change. I still need to improve my finances, and I'm just confused about what career path when I move. Any advice is appreciated. Thank you. Libra rising, and you've got a Virgo moon and a Cancer sun. Okay. So, a couple things. Knowing that you have a 12th house moon, that can be good for living in a foreign land. But over the next year or so, Saturn's going to be opposing your moon, which means you got to figure out career path first before you make a move. Pluto is now out of your 4th house, so you can move, and Jupiter is going to come into a trine with Pluto, so you can travel. You know, pretty decent time to travel will probably be like June through August, while Jupiter is in your 9th house, trine Pluto. And then relocating to a foreign land, you're maybe going to wait until closer to like, you know, after Jupiter has gone retrograde. So I would say when Saturn's no longer opposing your moon and Jupiter's fully in your 9th, next year would be a better time. And then Jupiter's going to hit your sun. So it'll be good career-wise as well. So yeah, you know, moving can go hand in hand with a career change for sure. But I think that you'd have to figure out the career path this year while Saturn's in opposition to your moon. Let's see. These are the cards that I got. Temperance, Ace of Cups, and the Star card. Pretty good cards. Ironically, it says that it may play out a little differently than you think. Can you go the path of trying to find, you know, that you're moving through a career change? Sure, but these are like relationship cards. So as silly as it sounds, I mean, you are Libra rising, you know, so there is going to be eclipses taking place in Aries in your 7th house. Whether this is new working relationships, professional relationships, friendships, whatever, you know, those eclipses for a lot of Libra risings who are single are going to be partners. And I'm bringing this up because you have the Ace of Cups coming up. So Temperance card talks about careful planning, taking your time, letting the right things come together, you know, in their own way. Temperance can be kind of indicating that there are certain things that are coming together prior to you actually like moving or relocating or traveling. This can be a card that's about patience. It's about balance, healing, and also moderation and finding your purpose and really trying to remain, like peaceful, calm, and like meditating. Like if you have a 12th house moon, obviously you're definitely going to have a tendency to have dreams about things before it happens, whether that's where you're living because the moon is your home, whether it's about future career stuff because the moon is connected to career. There is definitely something to your dreams, but I don't think it's necessarily just job related. Ace of Cups is saying there's an opportunity for a romantic connection or somebody that you're going to be meeting that could lead to this potential shift. Love, new relationships, compassion, creativity, new emotions, spiritual awakening, intimacy, and also a proposal. So could it mean that you meet somebody and you're going back and forth and they're like, oh, I live in this other country? Maybe. It could also mean that, you know, you're trying to initiate a professional relationship with people who might be abroad, and that's opening the door to then, you know, relocating or moving, and then a relationship comes. It could mean that as well. But the Star card is saying really what you're wishing for, what you're hoping for, is that you can have it all, that you can have the change in your living situation and equally have a change with relationships and your job. So the Star card is about really staying in tune with what your hope and your desire is. You know, I mean, if this is something that you've been wanting to do, if you want to live abroad, my advice is make sure that, you know, you're sure about where you want to go. You know, because Saturn is in your 6th house and Saturn rules your 4th house of home. And what you're going to see in August, and then you're going to see it in December, is Saturn and Jupiter are going to square. So you don't want to move somewhere without having a stable income, without having a job, okay? You have to have a job that's lined up. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you move and then you're like, I can't be here forever and I have to go back. So you want to secure the work first. Equally, you're going to see that there's going to be a Mars retrograde in your 10th house. So there's going to be some job changes or some status changes happening either with where you're working, how you're working, or a relationship taking place at the end of this year. That Mars retrograde will trine Saturn in your 6th. So it's a perfect time to go looking for new work, to open the door, make it possible for you to find a new job. So maybe it's about working until you get to that point. But I think some relationships of destiny are definitely going to come in first. And you might realize that there are some people who are like, well, I've also wanted to live abroad, or like somebody else pops in that kind of helps incentivize you in actually being able to experience this and makes your dreams come true, right? Because partners amplify the energy of the star card, which is saying like, hold up, wait, you've only seen bits and pieces of the future. You don't really know exactly who's going to fit into making this possible and making this happen down the road. So keep your eyes open for relationships. The Devil card is coming up also, and it's basically saying that it's about not feeling limited, because you can get really quick and be like, how is that going to happen? I don't know how that's going to work out or how that's going to play out. Like, and if you kind of get in your head like that, then like you're closing off of any potential, like faith, that these things are going to happen. You can't kind of fall back into like patterns of being like, oh, it's never going to work. I'm not going to be able to do it. Don't get overwhelmed with the end goal of being like, I have to live somewhere else. Make it be like, I need to get work to the point, or my career to the point where I have the freedom to travel, or I'm, getting into a job that I can do remotely so I can live anywhere. And then make the goal, I'm going to travel there, or I'm going to visit there for a period of time. You don't have to figure out where you're quite living just yet. I would really recommend waiting until Saturn and Jupiter are out of that square. Travel, go and visit places first before you decide that you're going to pick up and potentially like live abroad. Make sure you like the place that you're going. And because your moon is in Virgo, it's going to be really important that you're going to be living somewhere probably that's also going to have like lots of nature, and it's going to be peaceful and serene, and you're going to be able to kind of have your privacy. Like, you're not going to want like a really loud kind of crowded place. You're going to want a place that's going to give you a little bit of peace, especially as Saturn's going into your 6th house. You're going to want to make sure it has really good health care, and also like lots of like temples or churches or like spiritual centers or meditation spaces, and like places where you feel like you can kind of like zen out, or where you can work out in your water. That might be something else that interests you. So watch for those relationships coming in. You'll see an eclipse here at the beginning of April. You'll also see a Mars-Jupiter conjunction that's going to happen. I believe that's going to be when is that? That's really big for relationships for Libra risings. Mars will conjunct Jupiter around mid-August. So if you're going to be going anywhere, April through, mid-August, that's where you can go and travel or whatever, and you could meet someone. And yeah, Jupiter can be husbands. So with Jupiter in conjunction to Mars, you could meet somebody while you're traveling, or you meet them at an airport, or you're connecting with them in a chat room or something before you actually physically go somewhere. So you can try to meet people before you actually travel, if that's an interest of yours as well. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Keep us updated. Let us know where you end up. Where are you trying to go visit? Where are you trying to relocate to? Let us know. All right, so I think I got everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on Friday night. I appreciate it. We're gonna be back here next Friday. We will be doing astrology. So we're gonna do astrology readings. I'll post the link in the community tab probably next Wednesday, next Thursday. If you guys want to get in, it'll be a full moon in Virgo, so I'm sure it's gonna be a busy one. Don't forget to like this stream. Click the button below. Make sure you're subscribed to my content if you guys want to see more of my videos. I'm always here Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're also here Sundays for Astro Weather, and Tuesdays and Thursdays midweek, where we're doing Astro Musings and talking about the transits. We have eclipses coming up soon, so it's really important to watch what's going on with some of the videos that are going to be coming out in the next month. And we're going to be doing horoscopes next week too. So it pays to subscribe. That way you're alerted as to when we have new content on the channel. If you guys like my work and you want a personal one-on-one reading, click the links below. Head over to beyondtheveiltarot.com. You can book a one-on-one Zoom reading with me. I have all different kinds of sessions available. I also teach tarot and astrology. So if you go to my courses tab on my website, you can pick up one of my beginners tarot or astrology courses, where I teach you guys how to read just like I do, whether you're a first-time beginner reader or you have a little bit of background. There's something for everybody. And while you're there, check out my 2024 astrology calendars if you would like a personalized one that goes right into your iPhone, or if you're looking for a printed calendar that you want to put on the wall to track all of the current transits. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I will catch you back here on Sunday. Take care.